Hello, everybody, and welcome to a podcast. This is episode 295 of a Club Kayfabe WrestleTalk. I'm Dan Peck, and over there is Glenn.
Yo.
And there's no Chris here because it's sex weekend.
Indeed, indeed.
There's no mainstream reviews or previews, but we are brought to you here by viewers like you. The Filling the Void Podcast Network, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Twitch. Here at CKCC, we bring you stuff like the blogs from Chris. We've got podcasts like Cinematic Triple Threat. We got the Twitch streams. We got CHMR's Ring Rust. The Blake and Sal Show. Cinefan. The Race Nerd Podcast. Jay Bonnie's Music Hub. And we also have our artists with Bindman Art. And more people soon, maybe, I hear? I hear some whisperings and some rumors. And, of course, there's Heather Quinn Cosplay. She's always up to some good stuff.
Yep.
Anyway, this is not a review or a preview, so let's just get to it. It's trivia time. Because we're getting down to the end of the New Japan Cup, so we got another New Japan Cup trivia question. This person has won 3 New Japan Cups, but lost their championship match every time.
Do you know who it is? If you do, leave a comment. Because I know the answer.
I know the answer because I am the trivia master.
Yup.
So I guess it's time for some news?
Yeah, we've had some news. Guess we'll start with the E, huh?
Yeah.
So, on the upside, AJ Styles finally signed his new contract.
No, AJ Styles got a new puppy dog.
Yes.
Also, he signed
that
a
was
contract.
how he announced it. By the way, I got a new addition to the family. Oh, yeah, and I re-signed my contract. I think it's for 3 years.
And he gets to probably make a quarter of the dates.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably gets to chill it out a little bit on the house circuit. Which is probably good for him. And quite honestly, WWE is smart, and he's smart. He's probably their number 1 or number 2 merch seller still. So
he had to have been, especially when Roman was gone.
Finish off the career, making the money, and still putting on the best matches in WWE. So
and he gets to be home for his wife and kids when they can actually need him.
Exactly.
There's too many guys who didn't get home until their kids were already grown up or practically grown up, and they're like, "Thanks."
Yeah, and they resent they do resent their family for that.
So
we heard that with I believe it was more specifically and recently. I think it was during that Andre special that HBO did, how his daughter kind of resented the fact he was always on the road.
Well, that's like it's like a worst case. She probably only saw him twice a year.
Yeah.
Especially since she was over in France still, right? So,
we have supposedly the Good Brothers signed a new contract.
Yeah, Carl Anderson made an Instagram post about it.
They give any detail for length, or
no? It's just said that they're coming, that they're back.
Well, that's good because
thanks to one of the group people that have supported them the most, the fans.
The last thing I was able to find was that they were leaving in September.
Mm-hmm. They must have either hit him with the guarantees or the money. Yeah,
a double contract.
Yeah, it's always weird how tag guys that are specifically a tag team, how their contracts work.
Yeah.
Because they only do the one match a show. Unless you're building something specific, and then you'll have the 2 singles matches to lead up to a tag match.
I hope to hell that WWE starts using them. I actually miss seeing them on TV. We have a new NXT signee in DJZ.
Yeah, and I imagine because he's been DJZ for probably longer than he was Shima and longer than he was Zima. So.
Yeah. I suspect he will probably keep his name. I don't know if he has his name copyrighted or not. I remember when he changed it during the TNA days.
Well, that was one of the things because he was like a gut check guy, like when they were doing stuff, but they had already changed his name. So I was like, I wonder who's winning this gut check. The guy who's already signed and has had his name changed.
Yep. But he's a good sign. I liked his work in TNA and Impact, so like to see what he does in NXT. Especially since he'll be familiar with a lot of the guys that are down there because he's wrestled with them multiple times.
Mm-hmm. You realize he was with Impact for like 12 years or something like that.
Yeah, the time has really passed by quick. I mean, he was out for I think he had 2 injury stints, but I think it was I think it was either the same knee twice or both knees, but yeah, he would disappear for a good chunk of time and then come back.
Well, that's why I think they gave him the DJZ deal, because then if he was hurt, he could still come out and be Robbie E's personal DJ. You know?
Ta 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 ta.
Yeah, and just do the air horns and stuff.
Yep. Let's see what else we have in the news. Oh yes, they announced who's getting the Warrior Award.
Mm-hmm.
That would be Sue Atchison, I think is how it's pronounced.
We'll hear it WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah. She's been working backstage for WWE for
she does outreach.
Years.
She does outreach stuff for them. So
yeah, she was the beginning of the partnership with all of their partners.
Like Susan G. Komen and Be a Star and all those campaigns and stuff.
Yep. So that's actually a well-deserved award.
Yeah, and it's actually what Warrior planned on it. Not that they absolutely had to do that way. I mean, it's their thing.
Yeah,
but it's good to see them differentiate it from time to time now.
And this one just makes sense. It's somebody who works for the company. They work backstage. They bust their ass doing what they do. You know, so yeah, this is exactly what it should have been used for all along.
And it's even a person I had never even heard of.
Exactly.
Which I'm sure people were probably thinking, oh, they're talking about Mark Eaton and people like that.
Yeah, I would suspect that when...
Yeah, probably, but there's also people like Sue.
when it was first made, I'm sure everybody was thinking, oh, this will go to the referees, or this will go to the people who tear down the stages and the rings, and
some dude's been on ring crew for 30 years.
You know, the caterer who's always worked there, or whatever the case may be. You know, the janitorial crew who works for WWE nonstop.
You know what? I gotta imagine they probably do have a person or two that coordinates that stuff.
I assume they must.
Because you're getting your catering from a different place every day, but there's got to be somebody who's in charge of how it gets freaking done.
Agreed. So there's got to be somebody who's in charge.
I mean, somebody that makes the call and makes the payment as well.
In other interesting news, WWE is selling Titan Towers.
Yeah, they want to move in 2021.
Yeah, supposedly they're moving I think it's 10 minutes up the street or something.
They should just move to Florida where everything else is.
That's what I thought. When I read the article, I thought the very same thing. I was like, why in the hell would you keep your headquarters
there must be
in Connecticut?
There must be tax things that that staying in Connecticut is smart.
It must be, because everything else is in Florida. Their developmental is down there. You know, a lot of their talent lives down there.
Yeah, because they go down there for the developmental, so they get into a situation and they get comfortable and they get called up, and it's just like, why move?
Exactly.
I'm only here 2 days a week anyway.
WWE owns one building and rents the other. I believe they said that they canceled their lease on the building and will be out of there by 2019, or by the end of 2019. And they're hoping to sell Titan Tower sooner rather than later. That's a big goddamn building.
It's much bigger than you would expect, especially like back in the day when like you first heard about it and you're like, there's no WWF doesn't even make money right now.
Like, I've driven past the tower. I've seen it. It's gigantic. It makes my company's, you know, home buildings look tiny. And Prudential has, that's where I work, obviously. They have their headquarters in Newark. It's a big building, and they've got another building that they rent in Portland, Maine. And in Portland, Maine, they basically have dropped down what they rent now. But the Newark building, they've got, I think they own 4 buildings in New Jersey. Damn. And we only populate 2 of them. The other 2 are rented out to other companies. Like, Jesus. But yeah, it's a very. I
was just thinking, like, they should just, you know, build a place in Florida near everything else, and have a physical Hall of Fame building. That
would be awesome. If they were to ever build a physical Hall of Fame building, I would totally go.
It would also help to more legitimize it, but still not legitimize it.
Correct. And I would agree with that. But at least if you went on vacation to Florida,
I think it would be super cool, because it would be more than just, you know, plaques on a wall. Like the Baseball Hall of Fame is, the plaques on the wall is just the beginning.
Oh yeah.
There's all this historical stuff and stories you can hear, and
they would have, you know, they would have monuments or statues made. They could have, you know, ring gear from all of these legends.
Yeah, and then it could be like, oh, and this is a piece of the cell from the Mankind Undertaker cell, and they'll show the high spots from the mat on a TV behind it. And
they could have all the title belts that were, like, you know, throughout the history of the company, you know, all out for display. Plus,
and also it would clear out the warehouse quite a bit.
Plus, it's a merch heaven.
You would have a physical WWE shop.
You go to any Hall of Fame place, they sell merchandise up the wazoo. Yeah. Because everybody who goes wants to buy merch.
No, that's the funny thing, because when I went to the Baseball Hall of Fame, the room where in a League of Their Own, where the Women's League is has their stuff in that movie, that's the store. That was the store when I went there.
That's awesome.
In like 99 or 2000. So they had moved the Women's League stuff somewhere else and put the store in there. Because it's like right there. Because you walk in the front doors. If you go forward, you're into the hall, the actual Hall of Fame. But if you take a left and go like 10 feet, there's escalators to your right and the store to your left.
I tried going to the Hall of Fame, but unfortunately it was closed when we got there.
Oh, man.
So we spent the night in Cooperstown, and then we bailed. Because we were on our way to Niagara Falls, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
So we figured that we would use that as like our halfway point, and figured, sure, I'll go check out the Hall of Fame, but no.
Everyone should go to Niagara Falls once.
Oh, it's so nice.
And then you quickly realize that you should be on the Canada side because they got the view.
Yes, but I appreciated the New York side.
Canada has the view. New York has most of the falls. Like, we physically have it, you just can't see it so good.
Yeah. I appreciated what we saw. I just the massive power you can feel with that water rushing. Like, jeez.
Also,